All right, I got another one for you guys. This comes from Bounding Into Comics. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic reportedly not being worked on right now. A new report claims the previously announced Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake is no longer being worked on at any studio. So this story takes a few interesting twists and turns. So initially in 2021, Lucasfilm Games, PlayStation, and Aspyr were the three that were mainly working on this, and Aspyr was the developer trying to do this, and they had a really convincing statement saying that they wanted to rebuild the whole thing but maintain the consistency of the story and maintain, honor the original as much as possible, with an updated engine and updated graphics and an updated experience. It sounded genuine. It sounded like a realistic approach to doing this. However, given how old KOTOR is, they effectively had to rewrite the thing from the ground up to make this work. So some time went by, and they put together a vertical slice, which, if you know, a vertical slice is basically just a chunk of the game, part of the story or part of the entire game world that is complete from top to bottom. And the idea is that you can make this in a lesser amount of time than you would have to make a prototype of the whole game. So it's a very small section. It should be able to be done quickly. However, it took them a long time to put that vertical slice together. It took a lot of time and resources, and they realized that it was going to be very cost prohibitive to expand that out to the entire game. So at this point, Aspyr was actually acquired by Embracer Group, and Embracer Group then decided to put another team in addition to Aspyr on this, and I think they put Saber Interactive on it. So at that point, Saber Interactive and Aspyr were both working on this game, and the idea was Saber Interactive had experience with this kind of thing, and they could maybe improve the efficiency and help get this thing done in a reasonable amount of time. However, even that seemed to fall on its face, and before too long, they ended up outsourcing this to a team. I believe it was a Saber team in Eastern Europe, which as you may know, Eastern European developers are a lot less expensive than Western developers. Even though they said, it was about quality, we wanted to make sure that this has the best quality that we can get. I think it was more about cost. So at the end of the day, I think the end result was cost. And they're not wrong for doing this. I mean, I have my issues with Embracer Group, but the fact of the matter is, this remake after remake after remake is starting to get a little old with people. And I think maybe by the time this came out, it might have fallen on somewhat deaf ears and probably not done the numbers that they would expect it to. Being a remake of KOTOR, maybe it would have done all right, but I don't think I think they were seeing it not cover the costs of development. And they were getting a little worried about that. So that's why all this churning around, all this moving of this property around between all these studios and all this. And as you know, at that time, Embracer Group has been recently going through a lot of churn. There's been a lot of failed projects at Embracer Group, and it's not exactly the most trustworthy organization to do a remake. So I would almost fathom a guess that part of this, moving this property around like this was to try and inject some things into that story and change the original story to meet with quote unquote modern audiences. That would be my guess as well. But I guess that even fell on deaf ears. And at this point, I mean, they've basically started deleting social media posts and deleting any YouTube videos or media related to the rewrite. And just trying to disappear this thing, even though they really haven't said anything to anyone specific about this. They did delist some assets and said, it's because we delist assets when the license expires on the licensed music. Fairly thin excuse there. But yeah, I mean, it seems like, they're starting to disappear this thing, and it's becoming very obvious that basically KOTOR is dead. Even though no one has explicitly said anything, but yeah, it's just nobody's heard anything about it. Nobody's talking about it. It's not on their site. It's basically dead in the water. And it seems like the end result was it was going to cost too much, and it wasn't going to make that money back. And I mean, that's at least my guess, is that it was going to be so prohibitively expensive that they wouldn't have recouped their costs on this. So there you go. KOTOR is dead, and unfortunately, that is well, maybe not unfortunately. If Embracer Group was at the helm, social justice KOTOR, probably not the best game in the world. So probably a good thing they scrapped the project. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you like these kind of vids, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you later.